At 85, Cliff Richard is finally opening up about one of the most fascinating friendships of his life: his connection with the legendary Beatle, George Harrison. For decades, fans knew them as two giants of British music. But behind the fame, the hit records, and the sold-out concerts, there was a personal bond that very few people ever understood. Long before the Beatles conquered the world, Cliff Richard was already Britain's biggest rock and roll star. He had paved the way for a new generation of musicians, proving that British artists could stand alongside American legends. Among those young musicians watching closely was a quiet guitarist from Liverpool named George Harrison. When the two first met in the early 1960s, Cliff was struck by George's reserved nature. While others in the music industry fought for attention, George seemed different. He wasn't interested in being the loudest voice in the room. Instead, he listened, observed, and carried a depth that was impossible to ignore. As the years passed, their friendship grew through a shared fascination with life's bigger questions. Cliff's faith was rooted in Christianity. George's spiritual journey led him toward Eastern philosophy and meditation. On paper, they couldn't have been more different. Yet, those differences became the foundation of some of their most meaningful conversations. According to Cliff, George wasn't searching for fame, success, or applause. He was searching for peace, and that's what impressed him the most. While millions saw George Harrison as a Beatle, Cliff saw something else: a thoughtful man trying to understand the purpose of life beyond the spotlight. The pressures of fame affected both men in different ways. Cliff continued performing year after year, embracing the stage and the audiences who adored him. George, however, often seemed uncomfortable with celebrity. He preferred quiet moments, music, nature, and the privacy that fame rarely allowed. Looking back now, Cliff admits there was something he admired about that. George had the courage to walk away when he needed to. He wasn't afraid to disappear from the headlines and focus on what truly mattered to him. When George Harrison passed away in 2001, the loss hit Cliff harder than many people realized. It wasn't simply the death of a fellow musician. It was the loss of a friend whose wisdom, kindness, and spiritual curiosity had left a lasting mark on his life. Today, at 85, Cliff reflects on George with deep gratitude. Not as a member of the world's most famous band, not as a cultural icon, but as a genuine human being who never stopped searching for truth. And perhaps that's the real story Cliff wants people to remember. Behind the music, behind the fame, and behind the history, George Harrison was simply a man trying to find meaning in life. And in that journey, Cliff Richard found a friend he would never forget.